We are together with the Otorola today, and we're gonna talk about the second-hand car business mainly. I hope we will have a fruitful meeting, and Aslı Hanım, the sales director, will provide us the general rules and the outline of our meeting. I would like to thank all of you for your participation. Aslı Hanım,
Hi,
buyurun.
thank you. I would like to say something in Turkish. Öncelikle tüm webinar zaman ayırıp katılan tüm katılımcılara teşekkür ederim. Aslı Göker ismim ve bu biz Global Indicata Direktörü Andrew Shields'la beraber bir webinar düzenliyoruz üyelerimizle. Bu webinarın açıkçası detayı tüm kullanılmış otomobil pazarında otomobil sektörleri ve yetkili bayiler için ikinci el araçların yönetiminin önemi, elektrikli araçlar ve onların RV'leriyle ilgili pazar trendlerinden bahsediyor. Umarım bu webinardan fayda sağlar. Ben herkese tekrar teşekkür ederim. Birkaç uyarı paylaşmak istedim. KPK kapsamında herkesin görüntü ve ses kaydı alınacak. Sorularınız olması durumunda da webinar sonrasında soru cevap kısmına yazılı olarak sorularınızı iletebilirsiniz. Ve webinarı İngilizce dinlemek istiyorsanız tercüme alanına İngilizce, Türkçe dinlemek istiyorsanız da Türkçe gerekiyor. Herkese teşekkür ederim. Andy, thank you for your participation first of all. Stage is yours.
Aslan, thank you very much indeed. Allow me to first share my screen so that we can start the presentation. Let's make sure we are in a good place. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, we can, Andy.
Okay, let me just move this away. That's good. Okay, so if you can hear me okay and you can see my screen well, I shall start. Firstly, thank you very much indeed for the kind introduction. My name's Andy Shields. I'm the Global Business Unit Director of Indicata, not the whole of Autorola, but one of the business units, and I will explain that in a second. What I'm aiming to do is take you through some of the challenges in used car management across Europe, look at what those challenges are, particularly in the area of pricing, and also looking in detail at some of the challenges that are happening on battery electric vehicles. And then we're going to look in a little bit more detail about how, from an OEM point of view, you can start trying to improve your dealer network profitability and capability on used car, very much with an eye to improve new car activity and new car capability as well. So the key themes that we're going to go through in this presentation is very much focusing on stock and price management of dealer stock. Firstly, I'm going to take you through a little bit more about who we are. Many of you may know already the Autorola Group, which will be great, but I'll just give you a little bit more detail about our global footprint. I'm going to go through some of the market challenges, the very turbulent market we live in, both in Europe and very much as we look at the Turkish market, some of the major challenges that you guys have, and look at some market trends and some market price stats. We're going to talk about measuring network used car performance, and I'll give you some information about how the Turkish market franchise dealers perform overall. And then we're going to talk about how do you improve. It's one thing measuring the market, but it's what's more important is how do you improve, and overall, what is that worth to you in total? So let me take you through who we are. We're the Autorola Group. We were founded in 1996. We now have around about 750, actually a little bit out of date. I think we're now up to 850 people worldwide. We're headquartered in Denmark, and we operate out of 19 countries, but we sell cars through our auction division to over 50,000 customers in 40 different countries. And that's our Autorola Marketplace division. We put through about 1 million vehicles onto our platform every year. In Indicata, we have round about 6,000 users every single day using the Indicata platform. As I said before, I'm part of a business unit. I lead the Indicata business unit, which is the business intelligence, market insight, and valuation side of the business. But the other two business units include our marketplace division, which is our online auctions, and our solutions division, which makes customized IT software for large fleet owners in terms of processing vehicles out of their business, and also for large fleet vehicle buyers in terms of large dealer groups to manage the purchase process of those vehicles as well. In terms of the Indicata customer base, it's very broad. We work with car manufacturers, we work with rental companies, we work with leasing companies, we work with dealer groups, insurance companies. So we have a very broad base of blue chip clients. But just to give you a better flavor of the things we'll do, I'm just going to give you a little bit of information about maybe 3 of our clients. Firstly, I'll want to talk about Penske Automotive. Penske is an American owned dealer group. It basically is Europe's 2nd largest dealer group, primarily going in the UK under the brand name of Sytner. We are basically providing pricing and stock management capability to 102 dealer outlets that they have. And what we implement with them is very bespoke pricing strategies of their stock, pricing of the purchase of their stock, pricing of their stock whilst they're marketing it, aimed to optimize their stock turn and their profit. And within that, we have a 4-person customer success team that work with each and every branch on a regular basis, reviewing, updating all their decision-making in and around pricing and stock management. If we take BMW, we operate all their pan-European remarketing for BMW as a manufacturer, BMW Financial Services, and the BMW vehicles that come out of Alphabet. And our pricing side assesses every single vehicle that they look to remarket across Europe. And we analyze for price in every market and attractiveness in every market so that we can identify for every vehicle the optimum price, the optimum channel, and the optimum country that they could sell their vehicles in. If I take Renault, we do many different things for Renault, but I'm going to talk a little bit more later on about our pan-European dealer network tracking. Manufacturers spend a lot of money investing in approved used car programs, certified pre-owned programs, putting in requirements of warranties, refurbishment, branding, etc. And it's a huge investment that gets made. But the question is, how do you know whether that actually works? Does it actually increase the resale value of your vehicles? Does it allow your franchise dealers to compete with independents? And that's very much one of the products that we have to be able to allow those 3 questions to be answered. Let me take you through just very quickly our process for building our base data set that we use in all our analysis. We start with data capture, where every single day my team of robot writers create 2,500 robots that go out to the internet and capture 14 million vehicle advertisements every single day from OEM websites, franchise dealer websites, and classified websites. We process that, we analyze that, we cleanse that to really understand the data in more detail, even to the point of using AI picture recognition to identify the facelift, the model year of a car by the position of the headlights and the shape of the fog lights in an advert. We then bring that data together to create for any vehicle, let's say a BMW 320 diesel manual rear wheel drive of a particular age, of a particular mileage, M Sport vehicle. We will then work out what the market average price for that vehicle, that very specific vehicle, is. Once we have the understanding of the retail price, the important question is then what's the trade price? And from that, we have great understanding of dealer margins, but we also have the luxury of the 1 million vehicles a year that go through Autoroller Marketplace. So from that, we can also understand the trade market, and we bring those two sets of data together to allow us to make both a retail price and a trade price. The extra bit that we offer, though, is our marketability score, market day supply, really assessing the attractiveness of a vehicle. I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail a little bit later on, because it's key to optimizing retail sales. And then we serve all this information up to all our different customers in a range of market analytics, but more importantly, profit improvement tools. We're not just a valuations company. Our objective is to give our customers tools that improve their profitability. So, what is market day supply? Well, market day supply is about measuring a vehicle's propensity to sell, its attractiveness, and to sell for a better or maybe worse price. So when we analyze, and I talked about a BMW 320 of a particular type, let's say there are 12 of those in the market. Well, we'll assess how many of those vehicles actually sold in the last 30 days in total. In this case, 12 in the market, 12 sold in the last 30 days. What does that mean? Well, basically, we get that score of 30 days market day supply. It basically says that the 12 cars selling at a rate of 12 every 30 days, that stock will be cleared out in a 30-day period. But if the sales rate drops, then it's a less interesting car, and it will take 60 days to clear that vehicle out of the market. And if the sales rate drops again, in this case down to 3 vehicles every 30 days, then the market day supply goes up to 120. You might notice that I changed the color as we went through there, and we look at it from a point of view of a traffic light system. Vehicles less than 40 days market day supply is fast moving. The market is keen to buy those cars. It can absorb any stock that's being sold. On the other hand, vehicles over 70 days market day supply, the market is saturated. Price achievement can be difficult, and therefore pricing is unlikely to hold its position. And on top of that, stock that you buy and put into your dealership or you try and remarket is going to be difficult to move on. So why is MDS important? Well, what I want to do is take you through some European market trends and show you how why that is the case. So what I'm looking at here is the price trend in Germany. And we're looking running from 2020 all the way through to 2024 of diesel and petrol vehicles. We're starting our index at 100, and we can see that over the COVID period of 2020 through to mid-2021, pricing was relatively stable on these internal combustion engine vehicles. As the markets then opened up, what we saw was that the price increased. Consumers were able to go out and finally buy the car that they wanted to, but there was also a shortage of supply, particularly of new car, because of the chip shortage. So we saw a great increase in price. As we go forward, we're also seeing a stability of price. Why? Well, demand is a little bit down, but actually over this period here, there was very little new car sales. So there's now very few used cars available in the market at this point. And that is one of the key elements that's holding up price. Now, that is internal combustion engine. If I look at battery electric vehicles, they have significantly underperformed the market. And we can see that their price started dropping down over the period. It tightened up quite rapidly. Why? Well, in the chip shortage, it takes twice as many chips to make a battery electric vehicle than a diesel. So there was a big shortage of new battery electric vehicles. So prices did strengthen, but then supply came on board, and you see this very rapid drop away in terms of battery electric vehicle pricing in Germany. And that's actually a trend that we see across many European countries. This difference between, or virtually all of European countries, this difference between battery electric vehicle and the internal combustion engine pricing, where battery electric vehicle pricing is very much suppressed. And if I take the example of the UK, has been a real problem in that particular market. So that's the trends, but what's the importance of market day supply in this? Well, this is our market day supply tracker for Europe. So we're tracking a number of European countries, and we're focusing here on initially petrol and diesel. And I talked about our traffic light system, and you can see that since 2022 running forward, our the MDS, the market day supply of internal combustion engine, has been very tight, and that's the reason that you've seen higher pricing and stable pricing overall. But if we look at the market day supply of battery electric vehicles, you can see it jumping up way into the red zone, a situation where there is huge oversupply compared to the level of consumer demand. And as a result of that, you've seen the prices drop as significantly as we've shown. But the question is why? What has caused that oversupply? What has caused that poor performance? And primarily, it's oversupply as a result of government interference, pushing cars onto the market ahead of real consumer demand. The first bit of government interference is the European legislation called CAFE. Clean Air for Europe is one of the interpretations of that, but it's the legislation that forces all European countries to control their CO2 emissions from passenger vehicles and commercial vehicles. This graph shows the average CO2 that's been released since 2000 up to 2022. And you can see that there's been some success in bringing it down. But interestingly, around about 2020, there was a step change. What caused that step change? Well, that came from the European Union producing a target that said all manufacturers must achieve this level of CO2. If not, they will gain very, very significant fines. And put it in perspective, with Volkswagen performing at this level, they would have been probably hit with about €1 billion to €2 billion fine. So as a result, the manufacturers had to respond to this and pushed battery electric vehicle and low emission vehicles into the market in volume. That created the oversupply that I've talked about, and therefore the crashing in price. There's a new target coming. It's based on WLTP, which is the new CO2 measurement. And that new target, and the measurement is here, that new target is now down here. As a result, there's going to be some significant pain in 2025 with the car manufacturers. And if I take the CEO of Renault, a couple of weeks ago, he made a statement that said he is envisaging that up to €15 billion worth of fines could be on the car manufacturers as a result of this new target. In the UK, we have a slightly different legislation, but again, with the same impact, which is called the ZEV mandate. Here, it's not CO2. It is a target whereby the manufacturers must achieve a certain proportion of battery electric or zero emission vehicles. The target for this year is 22%, but the manufacturers are only able to achieve 17% despite very heavy discount and some significant incentives. The impact to them is £15,000 or 680,000 Turkish lira for every car that they basically miss on their target. Very penalizing and creating some very strange behavior. In fact, one of the greatest quotes I heard just recently is, we no longer have a car market. We have a government-controlled supply chain, and that is out of control. That's the pain that the European market is going through at the moment, and hence the challenges in pricing, particularly in and around battery electric vehicles that I showed you. Let's take Turkey. Let's have a look at what happens in Turkey. And basically, we see this same situation. Internal combustion engine vehicles very much in a position of the green zone, supply demand's relatively well balanced. But conversely, battery electric vehicles very much in the red zone, an oversupply situation in total. And when we look at pricing, we see similar trend. Firstly, we can see the way that hyperinflation, high inflation levels has pushed up pricing within the Turkish market. But equally, you can see the differential that has then come with battery electric vehicles. So what we have in the Turkish market is some similar pressures, but quite interesting, we're also seeing, as your government gets control of inflation, interest rates, etc., you're seeing a plateauing out in terms of the used car pricing. But basically that hyperinflation that you've had over a number of years has actually protected a number of used car operators. If you buy a car a little bit too expensive, don't panic, hold on to it, because eventually it'll be an okay price. But overall, we believe that these days are ending, and therefore you're going to have bigger challenges coming into the Turkish market, and you're going to need to think in a much tougher way in how you manage your used car operations. You must adapt or die. So if I give an overall summary up to this point, it's very much about supply and demand being as a key driver of price and success in the used car market. The European used car market is being hit by waves of interference that's making prices unstable. This is nothing new for Europe or indeed Turkey. The pressures are different, but the turbulence is the same. But from Turkey's point of view, you have hyperinflation, and that's protected many players. And so it's now key for car manufacturers and dealers to start building in the right strategy to cope with these new and more complicated markets that we enter into. So let's go in and talk about good used car performance, because we know very clearly that good new used car performance equals good new car performance. We've got many other statistics and reports that we created for car manufacturers that show that correlation very well. But how does your network really perform? I'd ask three questions. One, do your dealers actually charge a premium compared to independent dealers, helping to support the residual value, the used car values of your brand? Two, who sells more of your brand's cars? Is it your dealers or is it the independents? Who has control of the used car customer? And thirdly, I'd ask, do your dealers really have the skill set to sell used cars effectively, or are they overall too focused on new cars and after sales? But used cars are important. They are the driver of overall activity. Well, from our point of view, we create a range of reports for car manufacturers that allow you to answer all of these questions. And we look at deeply into the metrics that I've just talked about, and into further metrics in terms of the way they market their cars, the way they advertise, the number of photographs. We go into a lot of detail about how your used car network is performing. But when we're assessing a dealer or a car manufacturer, we always start with a detailed health check of their operations. This is a part of that overall analysis and assessment, actually looking at the whole of the OEM dealer activity that's in Turkey. But I'll take you through some of the key outputs from that. Firstly, Turkey's franchise dealers only cover 9% of the used car market. Now, I compare that with the UK, where it is 28% of the used car market go through the franchise dealers. In places like UK, Germany, Netherlands, actually across the whole of Europe, there is tending to be a far greater focus of the dealer networks on used car to improve customer retention and be able to take better part exchanges. In terms of, do your dealers create an improvement in price, improve residual values? Well, across Turkey, franchise dealers only try and charge 0.1% more than the non-franchise dealers. So if you're investing heavily into a used car operation, maybe it's not working as well for you. In fact, the best performing franchises were three Japanese brands who on average were charging between 1.2 and 1.7% above the market. But if I look at the worst performing, one was a German premium brand. I'm not going to say who, but they were charging 3% below the market. So a premium brand, one that asks their dealers to invest heavily into premises, into used car programs, into warranties, into refurbishment, yet their dealers are sadly underperforming. And secondly, if we look at a French volume brand, that was the second worst at 2.1% below the market. So there is much room for improvement within the Turkish market in how the franchise dealers perform on used cars. And once we started looking at it, we saw that all the networks failed at some key price and stock management strategies. And just looking at two mistakes, we see that there's about 3.5 billion Turkish lira opportunity just on two areas where we believe that the dealers can improve. But measuring helps. But the key thing is knowing what to do, because it's pointless just saying, I'm underperforming. What do you do? How do you make it better? Well, this is where we come back in with our thought processes on market day supply. Firstly, if we look at cars with high market day supply, not very good cars, the poor quality cars, these cars take 2 to 3 times longer to sell and will drop in price in stock. You need to have strategies to manage that. Secondly, if you look at cars that are good quality vehicles, these will sell quickly. So it's absolutely imperative that your dealer network looks to charge a premium and take extra profit out of these cars, as well as improving the residual values of your brand. So how do you enact those strategies? Well, this is a output screen from one of the Indicata tools, our Indicata Pro tool, that allows dealers to track and manage pricing. But I'm going to use this to talk about dynamic velocity pricing. It's one of the principles that we work with. Dynamic means constantly changing the price of your stock as a function of the market price that's out there and the age of the vehicle. Velocity is talking about looking at the speed at which this car is selling in the market day supply, and again, adapting your pricing according to that. So if we take, if I go back, this is showing the market price of this particular Toyota. And if I look at mistake number one that dealers make, is they price too high in a market that's flowing away. Now, in Turkey, that hasn't been a problem because the market has always come up to that overprice. But now, as the market holds its position and potentially starts dropping, if you price too high, more and more that vehicle becomes uncompetitive, and then the dealer makes a panic move to drop price to clear that vehicle out, and effectively makes a loss on that vehicle. The second mistake, and the one that I want to focus on a little bit more, is actually pricing too low in the market. And if you price too low in the market, what happens is that car sells very quickly and you've missed out on a profit opportunity. So if we take good quality vehicles overall, what do we suggest you do? Well, firstly, we suggest that you look to price marginally above the market. Look for a premium for that vehicle. But then over time, if that vehicle hasn't sold, to start going through a repricing action to get to a point where it then becomes competitive, it sells, it doesn't age, but you also don't make a loss on that vehicle by holding it for way too long. For average quality vehicles, we say don't take so much of a premium. Price them alongside the market, but follow that same decay strategy so that you can make sure that if the vehicle doesn't sell at its initial price, that you don't allow it to age, drop the market to drop away and make losses on that vehicle. So if we then look at the very poor quality cars, you could, if you must stop that car, you should price that vehicle below the market and follow that strategy. but actually we don't necessarily support that theory. If you have a particularly poor quality car, it is going to be tough to buy. It is going to be hard to move in the market. So maybe it says that you shouldn't stock those cars. And if you do have to buy them as a trade-in from a customer, think about then trading that vehicle out to another dealer who maybe will take the risk on it because you know that this is a poor car and that it'll cause you problems. So let's have a look at that in more detail. I'm going to start back at the beginning where we're talking about good quality vehicles, where we suggest that you price above the market. How much difference can this make overall? Well, effectively, if you've got a good quality car, it will sell if priced appropriately in under 30 days. So in the first 30 days, what we say is that no quality car should be priced or sold below the market average. It is in short supply. It is in high demand. This car will take a premium. So do not price it below the market. No car should come into that price zone. How much difference does that make? Well, again, as part of our toolkit for improving dealer and network profitability, we have what we call our lost opportunity, our lost revenue report. So we analyze for every single dealer, or in this case, we're analyzing for every single car manufacturer franchise operation in Turkey. We're looking at all the sales that were made over the last month. We're actually looking at just the good quality vehicles. We're looking at those that were sold below 100%, below the market average price, and that were sold in less than 30 days. And from the data set that we have with Indicata, we can see all the missed pricing opportunities that are there. What does it tell us? Well, if we set a target price of 100% just on the market, so actually we should be charging a premium, but here we're just saying just go for market average price. That is 206 million Turkish lira as a missed opportunity in the way that these cars have been priced and sold. Over a year, that equates to 2.5 billion Turkish lira in terms of lost opportunity. So, first opportunity to make more profit for your network is very much sitting in the way that they look at their stock and their pricing of good quality vehicles. But we also talked about the bad quality vehicles. What do you do with that? Well, I did say price them below the market, reprice frequently, and then I said no, don't reprice those vehicles, don't stock them, move to trade them on, and make sure that you then search the market and buy a better quality vehicle. So this again goes back to our health check. This I've taken as a typical smaller manufacturer dealer network. I'm not going to say which one it actually is, but this is one of the franchise networks within Turkey. And what we have here is we're looking at the market day supply, and we will then look at the stock on sold vehicles overall. So if we take here, we have high quality stock, and we see that 31 of the very best cars were sold against a stock of 23. So they turned the stock over. At the other end, we have the poor quality stock, where effectively there was 207 sales against 297 vehicles. What do we see? Well, we see a very clear trend. High quality vehicles are good. They turn quickly for the dealers, and you have a 16 times stock turn. Just for those who are not aware of the concept of stock turn, as a dealer, if you have 10 cars in stock and you sell 100 cars in the year, then you have a 10 times stock turn. You turn your stock over 10 times. So you see, you get on high quality stock, very good stock turn, but on low quality stock, very poor stock turn. In fact, these cars begin aging and depreciating and causing problems. Now, let's have a look at this network's pricing. And we look here not at their average stock price, but I'm looking at their first price. When they first start advertising that vehicle, what sort of pricing level are they advertising their cars at? What do I see? And this is a genuine OEM network. This is their pricing from last month. And we see that on the high quality stock, they are pricing their high quality stock 0.5% below the market. But on their good quality stock, on their poor quality stock, they're actually pricing above the market. Completely the wrong way round. They shouldn't be pricing or even having this stock at all at that level. However, the good quality, they're missing out on the opportunity. On average, it's 5%, 0.5% below. Very wrong and very poor pricing strategy. So if we take that poor quality stock and we say, look, don't aim to sell that stock. What you should do is trade it on and look to buy better quality stock. And I'm not saying the very best quality stock, but I'm just saying average stock. Don't have poor stock, just replace it with average stock. What does that do for a dealer? Well, in effect, what it does is it means if we take the vehicles here, there are 297 vehicles that have got about an 8.4 times stock turn. If I look at a typical dealer margin on that, I'm going to say 68,000 Turkish lira. It means that there is a profit from that amount of stock over the year of 170 million. If we swapped that stock, that 297 vehicles, for better quality stock, we would be able to achieve a much better stock turn on those vehicles. And that alone, notwithstanding any depreciation, aging issues, cost of financing, but just the stock turn level would then result in profitability of 271 million Turkish lira. In total, that would then bring in 101 million Turkish lira improvement to the dealer, to the dealer network. If I add that across all of the Turkish OEM networks, that's worth a further 1 billion Turkish lira as an opportunity to grow profitability within your networks. So let's go back to the health check. Firstly, we know that with high quality vehicles, we've got a 2.5 billion lira opportunity. And in poor quality cars, we've got a further 1 billion Turkish lira opportunity. And these are just two areas. By using Indicata, we will be able to identify many, many more. But I'm just taking two simple areas of profit improvement. Bring that together. Those two opportunities account for 3.5 billion lira a year of opportunity for your dealer networks. How do we then support that? How do we make it happen on the ground? Well, this is where we would bring in the Indicata Dealer Pro tool. Effectively, it starts with an overview report of each individual branch within that dealer's operation. Or indeed, we could give this tool to you as a manufacturer so you could see this level of information on top of the other reporting we have. We have a detailed stock warning system. We constantly measure every single car against what the market price is and against a pre-defined pricing strategy. And any car that is outside of that pricing strategy, we will warn the user and we will recommend to them the correct pricing for that vehicle at that point in time. It automatically manages that whole process for the user. On top of that, we have the interface that I showed you before that gives the full detail of where the vehicle is sitting in the market and a target recommended price for where it should be priced overall. And as a business, we then back that up with customer success. We're very much not about handing over a tool to a customer and walking away and saying, thank you very much, away you go. We work with the dealers. We work with them to review their stock position, to review their warnings, to make sure that they're fully trained and regularly using their system to optimize their stock in total and their pricing in total. So in summary, firstly, we really believe in full stock and pricing management to drive network performance. We know that the market is turbulent, and actually hyperinflation has been something that's protected the Turkish market for a period of time. And we sense and we see in the data that we have that that is going away, and particularly in certain areas, let's say battery electric vehicles, that's going to become more and more challenging to manage. We know that balancing and understanding supply and demand is absolutely key to used car success and used car profitability. We have the tools and capability so that you can monitor and measure what is going on in your network. Are the programs that you are implementing actually having a clear KPI success in the market, improving profitability? And we can identify the opportunities where you can increase profit and where your network can increase profit by implementing very detailed and very sophisticated pricing and stock management strategies. But we're very much about finding those opportunities, but helping and coaching you and your dealers to be able to grasp those opportunities and turn what is some challenges in the market into increased profitability, increased market share, increased residual values for you and for your network. Thank you very much for listening to me. Hopefully I've been able to give you some insight in market trends, but also in the techniques of improving used car management. If there are any questions, I'd be delighted to take those questions.
Andy, first of all, thank you so much for your time and for the valuable information you provided to us. Herhangi bir soru cevap sorularınız varsa soru cevap kısmına yazılı olarak paylaşabilirsiniz. Buradan cevaplamaya çalışalım. Hayri Bey, bu arada ben size ve tüm ekibinize de bu webinarın düzenlenmesi konusundaki destekleriniz için de ayrıca teşekkür ederim.
Biz teşekkür ederiz Aslanım. Çok güzel bir sunumdu. Bunu markalarımızla paylaşabilme imkanı olacak mı acaba sunum?
Tabii Hayri Bey.
Tamam.
Biz Nurcan Hanım'la bunu organize edeceğiz. Hem kaydı hem sunumu sizlerle paylaşıyor olacağız.
Tamam.
Aslanım, bir soru geldi bu arada Berkay Bey'den. Görebiliyor musunuz?
Evet, görüyorum. Acaba çevirmenimiz Andy'ye çevirebilir mi? Belki Andy'nin cevaplaması daha sağlıklı olabilir.
So in terms of the used car data, if I go back to an earlier part of the presentation, very much about looking at firstly the data that is advertised. When a dealer takes a vehicle in and advertises that vehicle, we're able to capture that information, bring it into our systems, and that gives us an understanding of what cars are being marketed and what price they're being marketed. Secondly, we then assess when a vehicle appears, we say that that's obviously the start of its stocking period. We know that there is a period beforehand, but overall, we start our counter at the point where it starts being advertised. And when the vehicle is taken down as an advert, then effectively, we initially make the assumption that that vehicle is sold. But we do track that vehicle, and if it reappears within 90 days, we then don't assume it's sold. We assume that it's been transferred from one dealer to another. And from that, we can capture all the trends within the market and then benchmark it against our auction activity. Does that answer the question?
Thank you, Andy.
Başka?
Bu notu da paylaşmak isterim. Bundan sonrasında, webinar sonrası şu anda akıllarına soru gelmeyen katılımcılarımız için daha sonra soruları olursa bize de Türkiye ofisi olarak iletişimde bulunabilirler. info@indicata.com.tr'de sorularını yazarlarsa biz de cevaplamaktan büyük bir memnuniyet duyarız.
Başka soru göremiyorum ben ama.
Evet, yok Hayri Bey.
Yok.
Dilerseniz webinarımızı sonlandırabiliriz. Tüm katılımcılara zaman ayırıp katıldıkları için de tekrar çok teşekkür ediyoruz.
Evet, biz de çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Thank you very much, Andy,
Thank you so
for
much.
your presentation. Okay. See
Thank
you
you
in
very
the-
much indeed.
Okay. See you. Bye bye.
Herkese iyi günler.
İyi
Hoşça kalın.
günler. Hoşça kalın.